Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on the channel. Back to my normal setup in today's video. Please let me know what you thought of the different setup in the previous video. Like I said, I will take any advice on board. Today we've got what I would consider a mega haul. There is rather a lot of stuff to go through. This varies from online deliveries, pickups in CEX, charity shop pickups, many different stuff. I was on holiday at the start of July, so I got quite a lot of stuff then. I've been ordering quite a lot of things online because I've been selling stuff. So I've been getting stuff that I've wanted with the money that I've got from selling things. So yeah, I shall go on and just show you. I'll start with the charity shop pickups because they are all DVDs bar 2. But I'll show the Blu-rays within other things. But yeah, I will get straight on to the DVD pickup. So these I got, I want to say it's about a month ago, maybe a bit more than a month ago. There's a charity shop really close to me. It's a huge cancer research charity shop, and they do 5 for £1. So I think I ended up with 10, including a Blu-ray, which they included. Some of which I have since watched, and they are somewhere. I don't know where they are, which is why I'm not going to show them. And these are the ones I've not seen yet, or I've watched them before but just haven't seen them since getting them. So first up we have one called The Benefactor, starring Richard Gere. He was the main reason why I got this. I'm a big fan of Richard Gere. This is one of his newer films, and he hasn't done a lot of films in the last sort of 10-15 years, so I'm interested to see what this one is like. It looks like a sort of like a drama thriller, and it's also got Theo James and Dakota Fanning in it, so yeah, I will check that one out. Next up we have Kate and Leopold. This is one I've been aware of for quite a long time and one I've wanted to watch for some time, but I haven't been able to find it anywhere. I know that there is a Blu-ray available. I've just not pulled the trigger because it varies in price quite a lot, probably because it's out of print. So I saw it and I thought, yeah, I'll get it on DVD, give it a go, see if I like it. But it's Hugh Jackman, Meg Ryan, about like a 19th century bachelor that basically time travels into the modern day and falls in love with Meg Ryan's character. So yeah, directed by James Mangold as well, who's worked with Hugh Jackman quite a few times in the past. So yeah, that's Kate and Leopold. Next up we have one of a guilty pleasure comedy, I would say. It's not a particularly great comedy, but it's a guilty pleasure for me, and that is Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo, with Rob Schneider. It does have a sequel, which I think is okay. It's technically a bad film. It's not as good as this one, and this one I laugh quite a bit at. It's just stupid comedy, which sometimes I really enjoy. So yeah, that's Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo. Next up we have one called I'll Be There, starring singer Charlotte Church. It also stars Gemma Redgrave from Doctor Who, and Craig Ferguson, who I believe is like, I want to say, is he Irish? He's like a comic, a stand-up comic, I think. But I don't know much about it. It just looked like an interesting film, so I thought, why not add it to the collection? Next up, we have a psychological thriller called Twisted, starring Ashley Judd, Samuel L. Jackson, and Andy Garcia. Don't know too much about this. I think it's about a serial killer and cops trying to find them. Yeah, it just looked good. I'd heard of it before but didn't really know what it was about, so I thought, yeah, I'll add it and give it a go, see what it's like. Then we have one called 3 to Tango, starring Nev Campbell, the late Matthew Perry, and Dylan McDermott. I saw the trailer for this quite a few times. I've seen the trailer for this now, and it just looks like a funny late 90s comedy that's short, probably forgettable, but entertaining enough. Again, not too sure what it's about. I think it's about a guy whose boss asks him to spy on his girlfriend, and the reason he asks him is because he thinks that he's gay. And then he ends up falling in love with his boss's girlfriend, and yeah, so that's 3 to Tango. Then the last of this lot that I got is one called Something to Talk About, starring Julia Roberts, Dennis Quaid, Robert Duvall, Gina Rowlands, and Kyra Sedgwick. Directed by Lasse Hallström, who brought us films like Chocolat, The Shipping News, An Unfinished Life. I think he did Hatchie as well with Richard Gere. Probably forgetting one from the 90s. I can't remember though. But yeah, something to talk about. Really like Julia Roberts. I thought Julia Roberts and Dennis Quaid in a film together, still sealed. Yeah, no brainer. And the next lot. Wrong way around. The first one we have is called The Sea Inside. Now, I didn't know anything about this. I looked at the cover and I thought it looked familiar, but it's not the same film that I'm thinking of. Javier Bardem stars in this. It won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Film the year it came out, which I believe is 2000 and something, early 2000s, I want to say. But I don't believe it says on the back, which is weird because it usually does. Yeah, it doesn't have a date on the back, but it's definitely the early 2000s, and it's basically based on a true story about a man that is trying to fight to end his life with dignity. I don't know what happens to him exactly, but he wants to try and end his life with dignity. So yeah, it's like a story over like 30 years. Looked good, so I thought, why not? Next up we have a British comedy drama, I would say, called Love Sarah. Quite a recent one, this one. I say comedy drama because I believe it's centered around this young lady whose mother has recently passed away, so she goes to live with her grandmother, and together with her mother's best friend up there, they decide to open a bakery in her mother's memory, and it's a comedy, drama, love, that sort of thing. So I thought, why not? I like Celia Imrie, so I thought I'll give it a go, see what it's like. Then we have, I'll show this one next, A Mighty Wind. This is one directed by Christopher Guest, who does a lot of these mockumentary type films. This one came out after Best in Show, I think, and this is about a group of musicians from like the 60s, folk musicians, that come back to do like this sort of reunion thing. It's like a one last concert that they're going to do. And yeah, you've got regular sort of actors that are appear in this director's film, such as Eugene Levy, who I think is really funny, Catherine O'Hara, Michael McKean's in it, Harry Shearer, Parker Posey, John Michael Higgins, and Jane Lynch. Those two I just find really funny, so I'm really looking forward to checking this out and seeing what it's like. And then I got two classics for the collection that I'd heard of, but I've never seen. First up, we have one called Gigi, which I believe won Best Picture in 1958. I believe it won quite a few Oscars, actually. I don't know what it's about. Who stars in it? Leslie Caron, Marie Chevalier, Louis Jordan, Hermione Gingo, Eva Gabor, I know who she is, Jacques Bergerac, and Isabelle Jones. A lot of French sounding names. It's because it's about a bachelor in Paris. Yeah. It's directed by Vincente Minnelli, who obviously was married to Judy Garland and directed her in several films, including Meet Me in St. Louis. So yeah, it's a classic. It won quite a few Oscars. It looks good. It looks like it's like a musical, so I'll give it a go, see what it's like. And another one, this one's been remade, and I've seen parts of the remake. I think it was remade for television with Martin Clunes, but this is the original from the 40s, and it's called Goodbye Mr. Chips. And this stars Robert Donat and Greer Garson, and it's basically about a headmaster of an all-boys school who he's very unpopular, but I think he falls in love, and he teaches everyone lessons and stuff. It looks like my type of film. Again, I think it won quite a few Oscars, so I'll give that one a go as well. And then my most recent ones, which I got today, I got 10. One series as well, and a Blu-ray. I'll show you the 10 and the series first. Let's flip this over, show it this way. So first up, we got Wild Rose. I saw this at the cinema, thoroughly enjoyed it. Gutted that we never got a Blu-ray release of this. I believe there is a German release of this, but I couldn't see it on eBay, so I'm glad that I picked this one up. We've got Julie Walters in this, Jessie Buckley, and it's basically the story of a struggling mum who wants to be a country singer. She wants to make it as a country singer. I believe, from what I remember, she's a cleaner, and one of her bosses just says, "Go for it. You have a real talent. You just need to go for it." And it's like a real underdog, like a Star is Born sort of film, which I remember really, really enjoying. So I'm very happy to have this, even if it is just on DVD. Next up, we have one called, excuse me, Down to You. This stars Freddie Prinze Jr., Julia Stiles, and Ashton Kutcher. And I know the title. I don't know what it's about. I know it's a love story of sorts. But these film 4 releases I always find quite weird, because as you can see on the back, they put it sideways, which I don't know why they did that, but it means you've got to look at it sideways. Oh, it's about a chef, or someone at college who wants to be a chef, that sort of thing, in New York. So, yeah, give that one a go as well. Next up we have The United States of Leland, one that I've heard of before. Didn't know too much about, but I've heard people say that it's really good. It stars Ryan Gosling, Kevin Spacey, Jenna Malone, Lena Olin, Don Cheadle, and who else is in it? Michelle Williams. And it's about a young boy that commits quite a serious crime and is put into like a juvenile detention centre, where he meets Don Cheadle's character, who's a teacher, and basically he wants to turn Leland, played by Ryan Gosling, who's committed this crime's story, into a book. And Kevin Spacey plays his father, Lena Olin plays his mother, and his girlfriend's played by Jenna Malone. And it's just like one of those dysfunctional drama type films, so I'm interested in giving that one a watch. Then another Ryan Gosling film, which I've heard good things about, Lars and the Real Girl, which alongside Ryan Gosling also stars Emily Mortimer, Paul Schneider, Kelly Garner, and Patricia Clarkson. And it's directed by Craig Gillespie, who most recently did Dumb Money. He did I, Tonya, and he directed Pam and Tommy as well, the series. So this is about Lars, who falls in love, but he falls in love with a blow-up doll, which obviously makes everyone around him a bit concerned about his mental well-being. So I think it's sort of like a love comedy story sort of thing. So yeah, I'm happy to give that one a go. Excuse me. Next up we have La Vie en Rose, the story of Edith Piaf, the French singer, whose famous song was obviously La Vie en Rose. I've heard of this film, I've heard it's a very good film. I'm interested in her story. It's Marion Cotillard, and I believe she was nominated for an Oscar this year. So yeah, I should definitely be checking that one out. Then we have A River Runs Through It, starring Brad Pitt and directed by Robert Redford. I believe it also stars Tom Skerritt and Brenda Blethyn as well. And it's based on a true story. It looks like it's set quite a long time ago. Don't know much about it. Again, I'd heard about it because it's a Robert Redford film, so I'm a big fan of Robert Redford, and it's Brad Pitt. But I don't know too much about it, so it's one that I'll definitely be giving a watch soon. Then we have one of my favourite comedies from the mid-noughties, Waiting. If you've not seen this, I highly recommend you to watch this. It's just a very funny film about like the waiting staff in this like chain restaurant, and it's what they get up to when they're bored and when people mistreat them, should we say, when their patrons mistreat them, what they do. And it's very funny. You've got Ryan Reynolds in this, Anna Faris, Justin Long, who else is in it? It does say Chi McBride, Luis Guzman, and Caitlin Doubleday. Produced from the producers of American Pie, and I know this has got a Blu-ray release over in the States, and I will import it at some point, but for now, this will definitely do for me. Next up, we have Confetti. This is a British film from about 2006, I believe. And again, it's like a mockumentary. This is one of the first British mockumentaries that I know of, like big ones. But it's got a great cast. You've got Martin Freeman in this, Stephen Mangan, Robert Webb, Olivia Colman, Jason Watkins, Felicity Montague, Jimmy Carr, and Alison Steadman. And it's about this, I think it's a wedding event planner, and it's about him. There's like this competition for the most original wedding of the year, and they're like it's like a mockumentary following these couples' journeys. Yeah, I've seen the trailer for it. It looks funny. I like these sorts of films, as you can see from A Mighty Wind as well. So I'll definitely be giving that one a go soon. Two more DVDs here. We have Crossroads starring Britney Spears. I'll be honest, I know nothing about this. I believe it's on Netflix at the moment. But the reason I got it is because it's Britney Spears, and I don't know of any other films that she's been in. She may have been in a few others. But I thought I'd give it a go, see what it's like. It might be terrible, but didn't really pay anything for it, so why not give it a go? And then the final one, which again is sealed. I originally, at the same time, found a copy of this, picked it up, put it in my pile, and it wasn't sealed. I then kept looking, and I came across this copy, which was still sealed. So I thought, definitely going to swap that out, and that is Keeping Mum, one that I've wanted to watch for a long time. Primarily, well, both because of the cast and because of the story. I mean, as you can see from the front cover, you've got Maggie Smith, you've got Rowan Atkinson, you've got Kristen Scott Thomas, and you've got Patrick Swayze. And I want to say it's more of a black comedy about basically people getting offed in this small village in peculiar ways it's mysterious who, and you've got Maggie Smith, who's like this mysterious old woman. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what this one's like. It's very intriguing to me. And then the series that I got was one that I remember starting when it came on television, probably about 5 years ago now, but I only watched part of the first episode. But it was one I wanted to go back to, probably as a Blu-ray release, but this will definitely do for me. And that is Catherine the Great. I'm very pleased to get this, because this came in the 5 for £1. It is 2 discs, it's put onto 2 discs. I think it's probably about 8 episodes. It doesn't say, but I'm sure it's probably 6 or 8 episodes, I would have thought, because it's a mini-series about the Russian Empress Catherine the Great. And it's about her relationship with Grigory Potemkin, I think you say, played by Jason Clarke. You've also got Rory Kinnear, Gina McKee, Kevin McNally, Richard Roxburgh, Joseph Quinn, and Clive Russell in this. So, yeah, very interested in checking that out. Next up, I will go through my... let's do CEX and charity shop ones. So I'll get the 2 charity shop ones out of the way first, as we're still on charity shops. So the first time I went, I found Death Wish. Not Death Wish, sorry. I've got Death Wish on my mind, because I have just ordered that. Death Race with Jason Statham and Ian McShane, Tyrese Gibson, and Joan Allen. It's a Jason Statham film that I've not seen, so I thought, why not? I'll add it to the pile. It was technically supposed to be £1, which I wouldn't have minded paying. But yeah, I just added it because I thought, yeah, might be alright. If not, I can just sell it again. So, Death Race. Then we have the one that I came across today, which they did actually charge me £1 for, because I'd gone over by 2. So they charged £1 for Wild Rose and £1 for this, which I still think is cheap. So, but this is Good Kill. This stars Ethan Hawke, January Jones, Bruce Greenwood, Zoe Kravitz. Yeah, and it's written, produced, and directed by Andrew Niccol, who did Lord of War, which I really enjoy. So yeah, I thought, why not? It may not be a particularly great film, but I like Ethan Hawke. It looks quite good, so I shall give it a go. Next up, we'll go through the ones that I have actually seen, which are 4, which I bought all 4 from CEX. So the first one I loved. It's very out of print, so I was shocked at the price I got it for. And that's 40 Days and 40 Nights. I love this film. I thought it was so funny. I knew I was going to like it, which is why I picked it up, because I really, really love it. It's one of my favourite genres is the teen comedy, and you'll see that from the next one, and the one after that's a comedy as well. So, yeah, it's about a man that's kind of still reeling from his last relationship, and he decides for Lent that he's going to go 40 days and 40 nights without sex, basically. Don't know if I can say that on here, but we'll find out if the video gets taken down or whatever. But so he does that, try to do that. He sets that goal for 40 days. But what goes and happens as soon as he starts it? he ends up falling in love. So it's very funny. It's got Josh Hartnett in. I really like Josh Hartnett. I'm really happy that he's making like a comeback of sorts with Oppenheimer, and now obviously Trap coming out next month. So yeah, that's 40 Days and 40 Nights. Next up, we have probably my favourite teen comedy alongside American Pie, The Girl Next Door. I absolutely love this film. It's just one of those easy watch guilty pleasure type films. It's basically about a young guy that's about to finish school and go to college, and he sees this girl, played by Alicia Cuthbert. I think that's how you say her name. Um, Next door, it's the lady next door's niece, and he instantly falls in love with her. They fall in love, and then something happens. There's a big secret that comes out, which I'm not going to say on here because, again, it's probably not PC or whatever. But I was in hysterics. It's just a great film. If you like your teen comedies, this is a perfect one to watch. It was on Netflix. I think it's been taken off now. That's where I originally watched it. But if it comes on Netflix again, get it, because this Blu-ray, I paid £15 for it. So because I wanted it, I thought, why not? I didn't even know it had a UK release, but yeah, that's The Girl Next Door. Next up, one of my favourite mid-noughties comedies, Wedding Crashers. I always laugh at this. It's just a great film. Films like this just don't get made anymore. They wouldn't get away with the comedy nowadays that they did back then. You got Owen Wilson, Vince Vaughn, and then obviously Rachel McAdams, Isla Fisher, and Christopher Walken. Great film. And I will say Jane Seymour has some very funny scenes in this as well. She plays the mother of Rachel McAdams and Isla Fisher's characters. And she's very funny in it. And the grandmother in this, who was also the grandmother in... Not the grandmother, she was the old lady that did the rap in The Wedding Singer. She's in this as well. She's very funny. Overall, it's just a very funny film. It has me in hysterics every time, so I was very happy to have it in the collection. Then we have one which... I've got mixed feelings on, and that is Under the Silver Lake. I loved It Follows, which was David Robert Mitchell's film before this. The film that made him a known name of sorts. So I thought, yeah, I'll get this. It's got Andrew Garfield, Riley Keough, and it looked like how do I describe it? It's like a neo-noir type black comedy. That probably would be better if you were on drugs, if I'm being honest with you. It's one of those that is very weird, very out there. It is not going to be for everyone. Very artsy, but one that I really appreciated. I really liked. For the most part, it kind of goes off the rails towards the end. When you find out the big reveal, twist sort of thing, and then it just ends. But again, it's got great soundtrack as well. Really good cinematography in this, and it's a great film. But it isn't going to be for everyone. I did find it a bit weird. I must admit there were some questions I still had at the end that weren't answered. But happy to have it in the collection, I guess. Under the Silver Lake. Then these ones I've not seen yet, but these again I got all from CEX. We have Patterson starring Adam Driver, and I'm not gonna try and pronounce her name because I know I'll get it wrong. Excuse me. It's a Jim Jarmusch film now. I do remember watching this when it first came out, but it confused the hell out of me. Probably because I was a bit young to understand exactly what was going on in this film at that time. So now I probably think I would appreciate it more. So I'll give it a watch again. Then we have 10 Cloverfield Lane. I was actually surprised I didn't already have this in my collection. I've got the first one in this drawer somewhere in front of me, and I've still not seen it. I have seen this one though, and I really enjoyed it, which is why I was surprised I haven't got it in the collection. So yeah, that's 10 Cloverfield Lane. Then we have Edge of Darkness with Mel Gibson. This is one I've seen before. It's a good not a revenge thriller, sort of a revenge thriller. It's about a cop whose daughter gets killed, and it was supposed to be him that gets killed. It's not a spoiler. That's the whole point of the story. And he's trying to find out what happened to her, who killed her. And you got Ray Winston, who's basically he's trying to tell him just stay away from it. You don't want to get involved in this. And yeah, I remember just it being really good and a very sleek like thriller. And I think it was Mel Gibson's first film in quite some time when this came out. So yeah, that's Edge of Darkness. Two more. We have Bad Words. This is the American import. I don't know why CEX was selling it, but I can play it because I got a region free player. It might be region free anyway. Jason Bateman, basically he's a man who takes part in a spelling bee, and he's 40, and it's a big deal because he's found a loophole to be able to take part in a spelling bee and basically destroy all these kids. And yeah, it's supposed to be a funny comedy. I like Jason Bateman, so I thought, yeah, I get that. It was really cheap, so. And then the final one is Into the Wild, directed and written. Yeah, and written. Well, the screenplay was written anyway by Sean Penn. You've got Emil Hirsch in this one. You've got William Hurt, Marcia Gay Harden, Vince Vaughn, Catherine Keener, and Hal Holbrook. Sorry. And it's about a young man who decides to just have a life on the road. He's trying to get to Alaska to live in the Alaskan wilderness. And from what I hear, it's quite a sad film. So I will be prepared when watching this one. We're nearly there. We've still got quite a bit to go, so apologies, this video's gone on long, but I did say it was a mega haul. So these are ones I got online next. I'll just pick them off one by one. First up, we have Adventureland, another one of my guilty... Well, it's not a guilty pleasure because it is a pretty good comedy, I would say, actually. Especially this time of year. It's like a perfect film, perfect comedy to watch in summer. It's about a young man who wants to go to college, and to be able to do that, he decides to have a job over the summer at Adventureland, an adventure park. And whilst there, he falls in love with Kristen Stewart's character. You got Bill Hader, Kristen Wiig, who play like the park managers, I suppose. They're very funny in it. You got Ryan Reynolds, who's the maintenance guy. Who else is in this? Martin Starr, who you may know from Silicon Valley. He's in this. He plays like Jesse Eisenberg's character's friend, who also works at Adventureland. And yeah, it's just a good film. I think it's set in like the 80s or the 90s, I think. So yeah, definitely recommend Adventureland. Next up, we have Dog a Day Afternoon, starring Al Pacino. Yeah, one that I've not seen before. I've heard very good things about, and I've thoroughly enjoyed. Based on a true story of the 1972 bank heist that went wrong. Al Pacino plays the main character. You've also got John Cazale, who plays his partner in crime, and they rob a bank in the middle of the summer, and it all goes horribly wrong for them. And that is all that I will say about that. It's a classic. If you've not seen it, if you like these types of films, it's from the 70s, so definitely go out of your way to find this and watch this if you're interested. Then we have Taking Woodstock, which is about the Woodstock Music Festival in 1969. It's about a family who own like a motel in this small town, and the big heads that are behind Woodstock come to him and say, can we use your family's motel? Can we use some land for our festival? And it's a comedy. It's definitely a coming of age comedy. And it's just a great feel good, again, summer film, directed by Anne Lee. So if you like these sorts of films, definitely recommend checking it out. Then one that I literally got yesterday, and I watched it yesterday because it's one that I've wanted to watch for a while. 9 Months. This is the German release because I think it's the only available release. This is a Christopher Columbus film. Chris Columbus, same guy. Well, no, because Christopher Columbus was the explorer. You know who I mean anyway. Directed Mrs. Doubtfire, Bicentennial Man, Stepmom, Home Alone. List goes on and on. And it stars Hugh Grant, Julianne Moore, Jeff Goldblum, Joan Cusack, Tom Arnold's in this. He's great, and quite possibly one of the best short appearances he's made in a film. Robin Williams, who plays the Doctor. What's the Doctor's name? It's in German, so I don't know if it will say it. But he is absolutely hilarious. Pretty much everything that he did in the film had me in hysterics, because he's playing like this Russian doctor that's literally just come over, and it's just hilarious, the things he comes out with and the things that he's doing, the physical humour in this. He was just great. Robin Williams was just great. And it's just a great comedy. There's a scene on the way to the hospital which had me a laugh, as in like stitches as well. It's just a great film. Definitely watch this if you've not seen this and you can get hold of this. I got this for like £8 on eBay. So yeah, that is 9 months. Then we have a DVD which I specifically ordered because a lot of clips have been coming up of this character played by this certain comedian recently, and I knew that they did a film with his character years ago, and I thought, yeah, I'll get it, see what it's like, because I thought the stuff that I'd seen was funny. And that is Jiminy Glick in La La Wood, starring Martin Short as Jiminy Glick. So Jiminy Glick is a character created by Martin Short. They did a sketch show back in the early 2000s, and he's basically a like reporter, interview, like that's, you know, journalist sort of thing. But he's a very obnoxious, and just what he does with his voice goes very high and then it goes very low very quickly, and the things he comes out with, he's a bit of an idiot. He's very overweight, he eats a lot of donuts, and it's just very, very funny. And this has a lot of cameos in it. I mean, it's set at the Toronto Film Festival. I think there's like a murder or something, and the cameos include Kiefer Sutherland, Whoopi Goldberg, Kevin Kline, Jake Gyllenhaal, Sharon Stone, Steve Martin, and it also stars Linda Cardellini, John Michael Higgins, Elizabeth Perkins. Yeah, that's all the names I recognise. It's a short film, so it's one that I'll watch on a Sunday afternoon, I expect. So yeah, that is Jiminy Glick in La La Wood. Then we have some... How shall I do this? I'll do those two, and then I'll do that, and then I'll do those two. Then we have The Killing of a Sacred Deer, a Yorgos Lanthimos film. I watched recently The Lobster, which I probably should have pulled to show you because I got this at the same time. Looking at this now, I'm not sure whether I've shown this on a video before, but oh well. I wanted to get some of his films before Kinds of Kindness came out, but then I realised I really didn't like Poor Things. The Favourite I've got, I thought was okay, and I'd heard a lot of people say they didn't like Kinds of Kindness, and those were the people that didn't like Poor Things, didn't like The Favourite. But a lot of people that didn't like those films liked this film and liked The Lobster and liked Dogtooth. So I thought, I'll get them, see if I like them. Really like The Lobster, so I'm very much looking forward to checking this one out. Nicole Kidman, Colin Farrell, Barry Keoghan. I don't know if that's how you say his name, but yeah, The Killing of a Sacred Deer. Then we have Moonrise Kingdom. I couldn't believe I didn't have this. I love Wes Anderson. I know there is a Criterion edition available for this, but I just wanted to see the film and it's cheap, so I got it. Really liked it. If you like Wes Anderson, it's the same sort of thing. You got the addition of Bruce Willis in this. I think this was the first one that Tilda Swinton was in, and yeah, it's just a great film. Excuse me. And if you like these sorts of films, definitely recommend checking it out. Now this one probably gets the award for the weirdest, quirkiest film I've seen this year, and I shouldn't be surprised because of the directors of this film, and that is Swiss Army Man, directed by Daniels, who obviously brought us the Academy Award winning Everything Everywhere All at Once. This was one weird film. Basically, the gist of it, it's about a man played by Paul Dano who tries to kill himself because he's washed up on an island, but meets Daniel Radcliffe, who's dead, and likes to fart. He farts Paul Dano across the ocean on his back, and can do a lot of other things with his body. He can produce water, um, amongst many other things, and they trying to get this girl that Paul Dano's character likes. It's just a really, I would use the F word, but I'm not going to. But it's just a, yeah, it's just one of those that I was just left with like, what the hell did I just watch? But I know that I liked it. Um, Very weird, not going to be for everyone, but if you like Everything Everywhere All at Once, then I guess check it out. And then two which came yesterday, which are older films that I just not got around to seeing yet, and I got them really cheap, so I thought, yes, finally. We have Jackie Brown, obviously Quentin Tarantino's film, one of the only ones of his that I've not seen yet. So it's this, Death Proof, and Kill Bill 2 I've not seen yet. So I'll definitely watch them soon. I've got Kill Bill 2 somewhere, so I will watch them. But yeah, just had to add it to the collection. Just took me some time. I'm very sorry I keep doing that. Very sorry about that. And then we have Broken Arrow with John Travolta and Christian Slater. Now, when I usually see this, it usually goes for quite a bit of money. I got this for £3, so I was very happy for that price. So yeah, John Woo directed it as well, so should be good. Yeah, give that one a watch. And then I'll do this. I'll leave that to last because that's a brand new release, so I'll show that last. This I also got in CEX as a 4K box set I've been after for a long time, and I finally pulled the trigger at £30, £10 per film. I thought that's a pretty decent price. And that is The Mummy Trilogy on 4K, which obviously has The Mummy, The Mummy Return, and The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. I really like all three. I grew up on these films. I wore the DVDs out of these films. They were probably some of the first DVDs I had in the collection, and I probably watched them on repeat, so I don't know why I haven't had this earlier in my collection, but I'm certainly happy to have it in the collection now, and I will be rewatching these very, very soon. Next up, we'll go through some 4Ks that I ordered. So first up, we have The Last Picture Show, which did also get a release through Criterion last November, but this is just a standard Sony release. I thought this was included in one of the Columbia Classics box sets, but it doesn't say anything on here. It looks like an official release, but maybe it did come from that. But yeah, apparently it's a great film. I've heard good things about it. Won quite a few Oscars, I think. And it stars Jeff Bridges. So yeah, I'll give that one a go. Then we have one that I've heard is quite a hard watch, but one I've been interested in watching for quite a while. Requiem for a Dream. This came out in 2000 and stars Ellen Burstyn, Jared Leto, Jennifer Connelly, and Marlon Wayans, and is directed by Darren Aronofsky. It's all about people addicted to opioids and their struggles, and it's been described as like quite horror-ish, so I'm definitely interested in seeing what that one's like. Then we have two upgrades that I just had to upgrade finally. First up, we have Training Day, just one that has to be upgraded. It's a great classic film. Obviously Denzel Washington won an Oscar for his performance in this, and yeah, it's just a classic. If you've not seen it, definitely recommend checking that one out. And then one of my favourite films, also one of my favourite Martin Scorsese films, The Departed. On rewatchability for me, this is probably very high on rewatchability for Martin Scorsese films. This and The Wolf of Wall Street are two of my favourite films. Not just favourite Martin Scorsese films, but favourite films of all time. And Goodfellas as well, I'd put up there as well. Just a great crime mob thriller. Jack Nicholson, Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Alec Baldwin, Vera Farmiga, Martin Sheen, Mark Wahlberg. Just an absolutely fantastic cast, and I loved it. So yeah, The Departed. Then we have one which I got when it came out. I used the 20% off code in HMV. I heard everyone talking about this. I had never heard of the film before, but I'd heard great things, and I thought, why not give it a go as a blind buy and see what it's like? And that is Mute Witness. I really like this film. I thought it was really good. I'm glad that Ari put this out in 4K because it's one of those films that otherwise would probably have just disappeared. It's a very niche film. It's about it's like a cat and mouse Hitchcockian type thriller, um, about a woman who's mute, and she's like a makeup artist, special effects artist, and she witnesses a crime take place. They're filming in Russia, and she witnesses a crime take place on set when she's locked in overnight, and they're basically trying to kill her. Yeah, really good. Not too long either, and I really enjoyed it. If you've not seen this and you're interested, definitely pick it up. It's a great addition as well. You've got a poster. What else have you got in there? A booklet, I think, as well, maybe. And a little leaflet, and you get tons and tons of special features as well. So, yeah, that's Mute Witness. And then the final two are also, one is a brand new release and one is a fairly new release. The fairly new release is Purple Rain, which was out of stock on Amazon for about a week. I've been after this for quite a while, and I finally saw it come back on Thursday, and I ordered it and it came yesterday. One that I've really wanted to watch for a long time. I don't know much about Prince. I know his music. I don't know what this is. I've heard this is a very different type of film. So yeah, I'm gonna watch this one tonight and see what it's like. So yeah, that is Purple Rain. And then the final one is a new release that I saw at the cinema in April, and it's out on Monday. I ordered this through HMV. Actually, it's really weird how quick this came. I ordered this Thursday evening. It came up dispatched yesterday, and it arrived this morning. Very quick. So I may do that in the future if I want new releases. Just order them very shortly before. But that is Challengers with Zendaya, Josh O'Connor, and Mike Faced. I really like this film. It's in my top 10 films this year at the moment, I think. Just a very tight drama thriller set around the world of tennis. Yeah, I just really liked it, so it's one that I'm definitely going to be popping on again very soon. So that is Challengers. And finally, we have got to the end. That is it. Thank you for sticking with me for nearly 45 minutes. If you have still stuck with me, very unlikely that anyone has reached it to the end, because I have droned on quite a bit, but I had a lot to show. But I'm not going to take it any further. I'm just going to say thanks so much for the video. If you like the video, make sure to give it a like. Comment down below. Have you got any of these? Any that you can recommend me pick up next month? I always take anyone's recommendations on board. Turn your notification bell on if you want to see when I have a new video uploaded onto the channel. And subscribe to see more videos like this. And until next time, everyone, take care. Goodbye.